So we are today with Cheryl Snapp Conner. She is the CEO and founder of Snapp Conner PR. And the question for today is, how do you balance the difference of building a personal brand and also building a company brand when it's really difficult to do both?
It is difficult to do both, but you can. It's just striking the right balance. The reason it is important to have a personal brand, among others, is just that account selling doesn't work. For example, you buy the space on the stadium as a sponsorship. People don't care. They want to converse and have an engagement with another person. So your personal brand is going to be more impactful than your company brand. I actually began to develop a personal brand somewhat by accident. When the journalism industry changed and started to accept contributed material from executives, I was really, really wrung out by having to grapple with these executives who would then want to say things that were self-promotional and these heartfelt tributes. It has to be said, our story needs to be told, and it was really not interesting to readers. So I became a columnist actually to prove a point to my clients, and it turned out to be one of the most impactful things that I've done. In fact, a great deal of business comes to us because people have read things that I've published that have resonated with them.
Perfect. So you write personally for, I assume, Forbes and I don't know what other sites.
And for Inc.
And for Inc.
And I have for others as well, but primarily Forbes and then now more recently Inc.
Can you quantitate what has that impact actually been?
Well, I've proven points. And in fact, I'm fortunate with Forbes. I happen to have written an article that became probably still the most viral article ever on the Forbes platform.
Awesome.
In the long tail, it continues to grow, 10.5 million readers.
Awesome. What was the name of that article? We'll link to it below.
Mentally strong people, the 13 things they avoid.
Okay.
Which was really interesting because there was the woman who wrote an original list. She wrote it for Lifehack. She's a psychoanalyst, and it had personal meaning for her. When I read it, I thought, that is fascinating. Entrepreneurs need to hear this. So I cited her, quoted her, but then did a take on each of the points that was my own.
Okay.
So it went crazy viral. And interestingly, it had gone somewhat viral on Lifehack, but people were brutal on her in the comments, just saying, you're not a licensed psychiatrist. What gives you the right? And in fact, the meanest thing anyone wrote, her name is Amy Morin,
Okay.
Morin.
Okay.
Somebody said, you misspelled moron.
Oh,
But
that's awful.
when I cited her and wrote my piece, it was referred authority.
Okay.
So it really edified her and gave her a lot of respect. And in fact, ultimately, we had to scramble because there were people who looked over the attribution. So there was that risk. You think you can create a viral article? You can't. It's in the hands of the readers. We scrambled. We dealt with that. We did a video interview together at Forbes. We were on Fox Business together. The most surreal moment was hearing my phone light up because people were letting me know, Rush Limbaugh is reading your article. He's just called you out on the air. It's on his show.
Oh, fun.
Crazy. And for her, it resulted in her book contract with HarperCollins.
Okay.
She's now writing in a number of places. It actually changed her career.
Okay.
One article.
Awesome.
One article. And then for me, I looked into writing a book, decided that a Forbes ebook was more appropriate.
Okay.
But that falls into the topic of balance. The people I know who've written books, it's been a year out of their lives. They've invested a lot of money. That was not necessary for me. It would not have been a good thing for my business. That was where I drew that line.
Okay. For writing personally on other guest sites, do you have a personal goal or that you try to hit every month or week? Or
No, I don't. I get an awful lot of requests, and I have to be pretty judicious.
Because some of them I assume you have to write once a week, right?
Yes, for Inc. we write once a week.
Okay.
Forbes, they ask for once a week.
Okay.
I actually am kind of crying. I've only been published in Wall Street Journal once.
Okay.
And I made them a pitch recently that they accepted, but they said, you don't have an arrangement with Forbes or Inc., do you? And I said, yes. And they said, well, if you write for Wall Street Journal, you only write for Wall Street Journal. And it would have been only 3-4 times in a year, and that would have lost a lot of benefit to our company. So I had to turn it down.
Got it. Now, as far as the company brand and building that brand, how do you what efforts do you do there for Snapp Conner PR?
Actually, when you publish in a high-level publication, the end note gives your company name.
Okay.
Your bio gives it, You give links to it. I honestly think, though, that in some respects, the company name isn't as important as the attachment or engagement to the person who communicates the message.
Okay.
There are people who forget our company name, but will Google my name
Cheryl Snapp Conner.
or Cheryl Snapp because it's more unique than Connor. So that's why I can't lose the additional last name.
It's a great name.
And, you know, it was before SEO, SNAPP. Who'd have thought? So,
Okay. And if someone's new to wanting to build their own personal brand, obviously you can't go to Forbes or Inc. right out of the gate unless you're really, really lucky. What would be a good starting ground for someone?
interestingly, Forbes may not be, or a tier one magazine might not be the best source. A lot of people just think that is such high credibility. I've got it made. If I do that, that's it. Well, honestly, if you write for a publication like Forbes, you're basically an unpaid reporter. You can't promote anything. But if you go to, for example, LinkedIn or to Medium, you can write whatever you like that you think is going to be of interest and value to others. You could take a whole section at the end, call to action. And in fact, even Ariana Huffington does this.
Okay.
Any disclosures necessary. I do have a conference that follows this theme. If you'd like to come to the conference, please do this, that, link to it. Never allowed in a standard publication. And people ask meaningful questions there too, where if they go out on Forbes, it's just going to be nice article, thank you. But in another location like LinkedIn, they want to get in a dialogue with you. They're halfway down the path to a sale.
Okay. How often are you publishing for yourself in LinkedIn or on Medium?
I have to be honest, I'm not very much at all. I wrote a couple on LinkedIn just as an experiment.
Okay.
On Medium, I'm republishing material because I've got a giant body of work at this point, but someone in our office is helping get those formatted and published. So one a day just to see what that's doing.
Got it.
That's made me one of the leading entrepreneurship and leadership writers for Medium.
Okay.
But that's why. Those are not new articles. They're ones that have been published elsewhere.
Got it. So basically to summarize, you know, if you're new to building a personal brand, you would start out maybe on LinkedIn or on Medium. And then as you grow, you could grow into something like a Forbes or an Inc., but that would give a good track record to allow you to transition. And then as far as the personal or the business brand for yourself, I feel like they go hand in hand because if you're saying that you know who you are, they care about you as an individual, but you also get the attribution for your business.
That's true. And some people who just don't write, and we try to teach people to write, but video works too.
Okay.
There are people who've built beautiful brands for themselves on YouTube or just on even Facebook Live. If you're effective with it, that can be a way to build a personal brand also.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And this is our second interview. We'll do our third interview tomorrow. So come back then. Thanks.